Greetings, YouTube. Although greetings, YouTube is like a friendly statement, like a positive, optimistic, energetic statement. I want to greet you with that. You don't want to. I never wanted my tagline on YouTube to be like, "Hey, screw you, YouTube." A Ron Burgundy gone wrong in the teleprompter. That kind of thing. Some of you overnight reached out to me and have expressed your displeasure about. It's funny. Kabam doesn't have time, seemingly, or the ability to stop a lot of this cheating in the battlegrounds. We're seeing the AI continue to evolve in really frustrating ways. Of course, the game is just straight up broken and still buggy. But they do have time to kind of sneak in what they thought they were going to get us with, and that is the mole god turned mole man, from a god to a man, nerf. That I get. Look, there are people out there, when I say nerf, you say, "Prof, that's clickbait." He's not nerfed. He's returned to his original intent. He was incorrectly buffed before, and my response is always, okay, but they waited over a year to fix it. There should be some kind of statute of limitations regarding their level of concern regarding champions, especially when you have people that took him to rank 3 or even rank 4, and now he's been downgraded. We have seen this with other champions where when they return them to how they should have been intended, like say Domino, they were too powerful, so they just changed the description of the champion in the information box. So as always, when it benefits Kabam, Kabam's going to do what's in their best interest. When it benefits the player, Kabam's going to do what's in their best interest. And even that may include changing or having double standards on things like what I just referenced with Mole God. So Aldak here, who I guess doesn't really comment on the forums much, he's a pretty solid contributor to the community, doesn't complain much, but he put this post out. He said, "I'm so incredibly disappointed in the team and Kabam in general. The timing of the actual implementation also seems, whether intentional or not, to be incredibly cynical, considering it's the week after the biggest sale of the year." It's not only cynical, it's shady as hell. Right? It's just sketchy. I feel like most of Kabam right now is just unofficial art majors. They're so sketchy. We went into that genuinely hopeful that you were reconsidering this and certainly not going to be great for marketing going forward. Well, it's again the case. I touched on this last night or this morning if you're across the pond with their handlement of something that doesn't affect really any in-game players or even people who are striving to be more than intermediate casual players, and that's the delay of the chance to use units to rank up 1-stars to 4-star champions, a store that they had promised in the patch notes, and then not only just delayed for some unknown reason, but they didn't even talk about that they had delayed it until people called them out on it. Well, in this case, it's not like they put out this in-game inbox message that said, "Hey, today the Mole Man changes are going live. You will see them. We apologize for the delay. This is a test." Whatever. I mean, people still wouldn't have been happy with it, but at least they would have seen it coming. Instead, it was like, "Oh, I brought in Mole Man for Battlegrounds and noticed, oh, he's different. He's worse." And I know it's a very touchy subject to say the word nerf because people get triggered. And it's different in terms of an actual case study than some other nerfs, but that doesn't mean it's still not shady as hell. And, you got to call shady, regardless. Have appreciated the communication from Jax, but considering previous controversial character changes, nerfs, Namor, Cole are the most obvious examples. And remember, on record, especially with Namor, Kabam still holds that he really wasn't nerfed much at all. In fact, if you like using him, he wasn't really nerfed. And that remains to me probably at the top of the list of the most tone-deaf positions Kabam has, because if you were to ask the player base what percentage of people use Namor consistently after the nerf, it would be, I think, well over 50% of the people that used him before. And so Kabam is going to try to polish a turd, but a turd is a turd regardless of what you put over it. It's difficult to be optimistic about whether this will result in the ending the vast majority of players want. I just can't understand why the Team Kabam would plow ahead with an entirely unnecessary and unwanted change, fix seems redundant after 16 months. Again, we just touched on how there probably should be a statute of limitations regarding this situation. Regardless of what players have expressed, why shoot yourself and the game in the foot? I don't get it, and I think most people feel the same. Now, you'll notice there wasn't any profanity in this. I would argue there wasn't any, controversial language in it. Well, two things have happened for this summoner, Mr. Allen, since he posted this. One, Kabam just immediately keeps deleting his comments. And two, if people can't find his comments, that's because he's figuring out or the hard way learning what shadow banning means, which is Kabam's just going to silence you on the forums. They want this problem to go away. They want it to go away, and we're not going to let it. KT1 has done a great job, as always, of covering this on his channel. Rich the Man, others the same. If we don't speak up as a community that this timing was wrong, then it's just going to stay. Namor hasn't reverted, and he never will be. And Kabam continues to put out the propaganda, really, that he really wasn't nerfed. And they're going to say the same thing about Mole Man. There are historic presidents that they could have gone to. They could have just updated his description. We've said that in this video. We said it time and time again. But they didn't do that. And I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with Battlegrounds, but Mole Man is not... He's not, winning people Battlegrounds matches by himself. Or even, I put him out on defense, and usually he gets wrecked. And that's probably because most people I fight have Domino, and Domino seems to beat Mole Man on defense in 15 seconds. And I see that and I'm like, oh, oops. It's a bad idea. But at the same time, even on offense, you're telling me that Mole Man is the best offensive weapon in a lot of these Battlegrounds matchups versus somebody like Nick Fury or Black Widow Deadly Origin or even Hitmonkey? Probably not. So get ready to be banned. Kabam wants this problem to go away. And if you voice your disappointment on the forums, the post will be deleted, and you may immediately be shadow banned. And when I say shadow banned, I mean you might be able to think you're commenting on posts, but they're all being hidden immediately to where nobody can see them. And if you have friends or alliance mates, whoever check, that's really the best way to know if you're shadow banned or not. And sometimes that's temporary, sometimes that's permanent. Only Kabam knows because they're doing it in the literal shadows. I just think, like this post ended with, they're shooting themselves in the foot. We're now 12 days into the month of July. They could have said, we are going to wait until the end of this patch month since it didn't work at the beginning, right? We were going to wait to do this in August. We're going to wait until the cycle of Battlegrounds has ended. We're just going to wait. And that would have been acceptable, but they didn't want to do that. And instead, you bring in Mole Man, you have to find out the hard way whether or not he's been changed. And in this case, he has been. So, thank you again to Alan and everybody else who reached out to me, even if I didn't cover your specific post. This is kind of emblematic of others that I've been sent. I wish I had better news for you, but in the end, it's Kabam. They're going to do what Kabam does, and that's what's best for them.